Hello there gear fans, welcome to the channel. And you may have been looking at the quiet carry knives and looking at the drift and the Waypoint. You're thinking, well, I'd really like to pick one up, but what's the difference between them? What are they all about? Well, the purpose of this video is to point out a few things to you and just try and help you make a bit of an informed choice. Now, I'm fortunate enough that I own both of those knives. I've had the drift up the top for about 6 or 7 months, and it's been carried a lot, and just over the last couple of weeks recently picked up the Waypoint. So I'll tell you what the differences are, the similarities, and yeah, give you a bit more information on that. So first off, to have a look at both of them and the things that are similar about them. They're both titanium, obviously. They're both in a stonewash finish with lots of fingerprints on them at the moment, and stonewash blade. So they're both the same stonewash finish there, and if you have a bit of a closer look at the drift, you can probably pick up a few scratches and things there on the handles. Like I said, this knife has been carried a lot and used a lot, so yeah, there's definitely a few battle scars and that sort of thing on there. And the stonewash finish, just for me, just helps hide those a little bit. So both of the knives run on phosphor bronze washers. The drift has obviously been using that for quite a while, so that pivot's broken in really nicely. The action is just very glassy. The Waypoint, obviously out of the box, it comes a little stiff, which you've got to expect with any brand new knife, but it's at the point now that pivot is starting to break in nicely. Those washers are really coming in, and that's very smooth when you deploy it. Okay, so now to look at the differences, and you can see on the drift there we've got a frame lock, whereas the Waypoint uses a liner. We have full titanium handles, and then I think it's LC200 there, the liner, which works really nicely, locks up beautifully, and so does the drift. That locks up nice and full there as well. And just comparing the blades, well, the drift has an obvious taller flat grind, and the Waypoint has a longer yet shorter blade and a hollow grind, which is really nicely done. They're both ground very thin. You can see they're very slicey. The drift with that tall grind, it's just so good at slicing. Whereas yeah, that hollow grind I think is just really nice, very classy. And for me it almost gives the Waypoint, it's almost like a gentleman's carry type knife. Just the slim handles and that blade profile. So as I said before, this has been carried a lot. It's become a bit of a go-to for me when I start the day and have a look at my knives and decide what I'm going to take. More often than not, it ends up being the drift. It's just so thin, so light, easy to carry. Oh, hello. Interruption by a cat. Easy to carry, and the clip I believe is the same on both the drift and the Waypoint. The wire style, it's really unobtrusive. It does what you want a pocket clip to do and holds the knife in your pocket nicely. It doesn't draw too much attention, and I really like that style of clip. I think it's yeah, I think it does a great job. And I wish more companies would kind of do that style of pocket clip. I think it's really effective. Now, another difference when we're talking about the clips is with the drift, you can only have the clip on that lock side. If you're a lefty, you can't put it there on the show side. You have no ability to do that. Whereas with the Waypoint, you can. If you want to swap that the clip over, if you're a lefty or for whatever reason you just prefer to have your clip on that show side, you can swap that over. Now, one thing I do have to point out with the drift is when I first got it, the factory edge it came with was very, very dull. So dull that I couldn't cut through an A4 piece of photocopy paper, which is pretty disappointing, really. These knives are around the $300 US mark. I live in Australia, and by the time you pay for shipping and convert US dollars to AUD, it turns out to be, it's a pricey knife, and you'd expect to have a decent factory edge out of the box. So I'm pleased to say that the Waypoint, the factory edge on this is definitely a lot better than the one that came with the drift. This is one of the better factory edges I've had out of the box. So it looks like Quiet Carry QC have got their act together as far as the factory edges out of the box go. I have heard a few other people say that out of the box their drifts were also fairly dull on the edge. But the positive side of that is that it gave me an opportunity to sharpen that Vanax Super Clean blade steel. And at the time I was a bit of a newbie in terms of knife sharpening. I picked up a Worksharp Precision Adjust and sharpened this blade on that, and look, it came up pretty nicely. It's that the Vanax is it's relatively, for a newbie especially, relatively nice to sharpen. It came up pretty well. It developed a burr easily, and yeah, one of the big advantages of it, besides being pretty much corrosion proof, the Vanax is it holds an edge really nicely. So if you need to put an edge on there, it'll keep that edge for quite a while. So Vanax, was basically a pleasure to deal with, even though I wasn't expecting to have to sharpen it out of the box. If you do decide that you want to change the edge on there, you might want a steeper blade angle, particularly on the drift with that tall flat grind, and you want to change it. The Vanax is pretty nice to deal with. Alright, so if you've made it this far, thanks a lot for watching. And if you're looking at picking up one of these knives, look, ultimately I'm not going to tell you which one to get, but I can tell you that whichever direction you go, whether you decide to go with the drift and that taller, stubbier blade with the front choil, very comfortable in the hand, by the way, both of these knives. Very different, obviously, the handles being taller here, and you've got that big choil, and then you've got the choil on the blade. I tend to choke up with that quite a bit, and it's very comfortable. The pocket clip is not obtrusive at all. Whether you decide to go for the drift, or you prefer the sleeker, gentleman's carry type knife with the hollow grind there. Again, a nice big choil there, your index finger just falls to that, very comfortable in the hand. There is a little bit of jimping there on top of the blade. My thumb tends to just hit that straight away. If you decide to go for the Waypoint, look, you can't lose. You'll get a really high quality knife with an excellent, amazing blade steel, and yeah, whichever one you decide to go for, you'll be happy with it. So yeah, if you've got any comments, any questions about these knives, you know what to do. If you liked the video, and if you didn't like it, same thing, you know what to do. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.